What is up, guys? My name is Micah with Crash Course Code, and this is going to be another video in the Java programming series. In this video, we're going to cover something called the Modulus operator, as well as a couple other things called increment operators. So to start, I'm just going to delete some of these comments we have here, write in a few things. So we have the Modulus operator, which is what we're going to cover. This is, it looks like this. It is just a percentage sign. And increment operators, which look like this. So it's plus plus and minus minus. So in the math operators video, we covered the really basic, the four basic math operators, which are plus, minus, multiplication, and division. So you want to think of this modulus operator as another addition to these four here. So if you remember when we did integer division, how the remainder was thrown out, the modulus operator actually grabs that remainder, and that, though it might seem kind of insignificant to you, is actually an extremely useful tool for programming. So for instance, if we have, let's say we had our, let's just start with some variables here. So int n1 equals 3, int n2 equals 5. And our int result is going to be n1 divided by n2, and then we're just going to print this out to the console. I also made the console output a little bit bigger here. Hopefully you guys can read it a little better now. So system.println result, and we're going to run this and see what happens. So we have 3/5, which gives us this big old 0 right here. And that's what we would expect with integer division with a computer. Now what happens if we use this modulus operator here? So I'm going to do n1 modulus n2. So let's run this one more time. So it looks like we're getting a value of 3, which is what you would expect just because it tries to divide 3 into 5 essentially. Because 3 does not go into 5, it just gives us that remainder of 3. So let's say we do this 7, for instance. And we're also going to make this a little bit more understandable, just so it's a little more human readable. So we're going to say n1 modulus n2 equals this, and I have to put these plus signs in here to make sure those concatenate. There have been many times where I just forget these plus signs, and I always have to go back and do that. So you'll see 7 modulus 5 equals 2, and that's what we would expect because 7 goes into 5 once, so that's 5, and then the remainder is going to be 2. So 7 minus 5 is 2. So what are the uses of this? I've used it you use it quite a lot when you program. Like let's say you want to find whether or not a number is odd. This is going to be one example. So let's say I have, I want to determine if any number that I put in here is odd. So let's say we put in 7. So if I do int result equals 7 modulus 2, every single odd number is going to give me a result of 1. So if we run this, you're going to see, proceed, whoa, it's giving me this error here. Okay, it looks like I don't have an n2 right here. Let me just make that 2 to keep this. Actually, no. N modulus 2, we're just going to say divide by 2 in here. And now we're going to add that in. Now if we run this, you're going to see 7 mod 2 equals 1. Well, let's say we want to check if 14 is n1. Let's say we want to check if like 14 is odd, for instance. So we do 14 mod 2. All even numbers are going to give us a value of 0. So let's say I want to find whether or not this massive number is odd or not. Let's make that a little bit smaller. So we'll have int n1 equals this. Is giving me an error. It actually is telling me this is out of the integer range. This is actually pretty good. So this is what I was talking about before with data types. Let's say we have to use a long here if we want to actually get this to work. Is out type int is out of range. So let's put this couple longs in here. And let's make that a little bit smaller. So I guess, yeah, so this will take in a long. You can use bigger numbers with the long. But that's probably just a good thing to catch, just so if you use these massive, massive numbers, you actually have to use different data types to actually work with them. So that was just going to be a demonstration though. I want to bring this back to an int just so you guys don't get confused with the int long and short. Basically an integer is going to stay an integer with these. So we want to check if this n1, so 374,823 is odd or not. So we're going to run this. This is going to give us a value of 1. So this is one use of the modulus operator. We always know that if we divide it by, if we do modulus 2, an odd number will always give us a value of 1. An even number will always give us a value of 0. So yeah, that's the modulus operator. So now we're going to move down to these increment operators. So you see this plus plus and this minus minus here. So let's say we have a number. We have int n1 equals 1. And we're going to print this out. We're going to say system.out.println equals n1. So we're going to run this. We're going to get a value of 1 right here. Let's say we want to increment this by 1. We want this to go up by a value of 1. So we want it to be 2. So we can say n1 equals n1 plus 1. This is one way we can do this. With programming, something that's good to kind of just get into your brain is that it evaluates the right side of an equation before the left. So it's going to do n1, which is 1, plus 1 equals 2, and then it's going to assign it to n1. So just remember, the right side is what's done first, and then it always assigns it. So you can use the variable you're actually setting, in this case n1, actually use that within the expression that you're setting it equal to. So that's cool and all, and this works, and we can do system.out.println, and you'll see it gives us a value of 2. So it goes 1 and then 2. A shorthand for this is n1++, and this is what that increment operator is. So this is the same exact thing as saying n1 equals n1 plus 1. It's just a shortcut, and it makes code look a lot better because you end up incrementing variables quite a lot when you program. So see, it gives us the same output, and we're good to go. You can do the same with minus minus. This just subtracts 1. So if we run this again, it gives us 1 and 0. And you use this a lot when you use something called loops, which we'll cover in the future in like 5 or 6 tutorials, I think. So that's when these will become more and more useful. So that's it for the modulus operator right here and increment operators. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.